Can we expect a patch down the line or any sort of DLC?
So at this point, there are no plans for a patch as of right now, but we are still actively looking to engage the community and get feedback, what people would want to see in a patch if we get to the point where we're in a position to release one.
Speaking of feedback, what role does community feedback play in the development process? And that ranges from when you and the team are in pre-production all the way through a patch. I'm not just saying that for NC10, just a franchise or game franchise in general. How does feedback play a role?
It's huge because, I mean, the community is – everyone who makes it the community are the people who support in the games. They're the ones who play the games and put their time into it. So we are always looking to the community to tell us what they think and what they want and what are their ideas to make the game better, because they play it day in, day out and in different ways that we could never imagine or have thought of, or, you know, so it's a huge, they play a huge role in pointing out, you know, the weaknesses, the strengths, what could be better. And we always look to them for that feedback, for those ideas. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we're making the game for you guys, for these people, and they're the one. You guys are the ones. They're the ones that are buying the game and spending time with it. So it's important that we give the community and the consumer really what they want and what they're asking for, and that's a great basketball game. However, how we do that is, the community wants a great basketball game, and that's, you know, the ideas and the feedback they give us can hopefully help shape our direction and in how we deliver it to them.
How tough is it when you make a game, when you go to a forum or read wish lists, and there are 1,000,001 great ideas that I think almost everything I've ever seen for feedback, whether it's NCAA basketball, NCAA football, any game in general, are always great ideas. How tough is it to narrow it down on what you decide to go with to put in the game? How aggravating is it? How strenuous is it? How many arguments does the dev team get into debating what they should and shouldn't put in? How tough is that?
I mean, it's really tough just because, you know, you have this, you know, with the community and with the other producers and the engineers, you know, there's a million things that, you know, people want to do, and really cool ideas and innovative ideas that can change the game. So it's always tough when something that you get attached to or you think is really important or cool doesn't make it in or gets cut or is just too difficult. But I think at the end of the day, the stuff that does make it in the game is always, it's there for a reason. And if just being able to focus on those things and polish and deliver the stuff, whatever we do decide to put in the game, being able to polish and tune that to make it the best that's what the focus becomes after all that disappointment sort of wears off. But what wasn't able to make it in, because can't really think about that after the cuts are made. You just really got to focus on what is going to be in there and what you have decided and identified are the core key components to making a great game. You really got to put your time in making those things great and amazing for people, because, you know, it's how you make a great game, is what you put in there has to be of the highest quality. So, yeah, it's tough, but you get over it really quick when you're tasked with delivering some amazing features.
That's one thing that I think the NCAA basketball team needs to get credit for. Is I remember at the NCAA Basketball 09 community event, you guys were kind enough to meet with us, and you had a presentation, and you pulled up lines from forums, like actual wish list items, and then talked about how they were implemented in the game. That I think that really showed how much the team listens to the feedback. And even this year, I went through various forums, looked at wish lists, and there were a lot of things in there that were added in. I know, like you said, it's real easy to focus on what wasn't added in that people asked for. But when you go through and start looking at what was added in, it ends up being pretty impressive. And I've been pretty impressed with the NCAA basketball team the last 2 years on how they've been able to take feedback and put it in the game. And that kind of goes into the next question. What are some ways people can provide feedback? And this is not just, you know, what forum, but it's methodology. What kind of things are productive and helpful to the team?
Well, that's a good question. I think anything, I guess, is the easiest quick answer, you know, as long as it's presented in a sort of constructive way. Like, I'm having this problem, here's how I think you could fix it, or something along those lines. But, you know, like trends, you know, things that people notice over time, or they do something very unique, or you know, a one-off situation that they've noticed. is giving them problems. But I don't think there's really any one way that's more effective than giving feedback, because anything that you think or that anyone thinks about the game is valid, because that's their feelings towards the game, and we do our best to take it all in and make the game better based on everybody's different types of feedback, whether it's bugs or suggestions or ideas or things they hate. At the end of the day, it's our job to sort of make sense of all these different types of ideas and feedback that we're getting from the community. So there's no real right or wrong way per se. It's just there are no wrong answers to what people feel about the game and think that could be better.
I know you guys can't respond to every question, every post, every thread on a forum, but are you guys pretty active in terms of at least reading or even lurking on forums for feedback and thoughts and whatnot?
Oh, totally. I mean, I think everybody on the production team for NCAA Basketball 10, as well as a lot of the engineers, are getting on there a lot more, just based seeing how active we are on there, and the links and the posts that we email out to the team has sort of interested a lot of people on our team. So we're all very active because we're interested in what people want from the game, and we're also interested in just what people's reactions are to the game. I love getting on the different highlight threads and seeing what people are doing with our game in terms of gameplay and what they're able to pull off, and reading about experiences from people's dynasty overtime games and stuff like that. I love reading about that kind of stuff and seeing the type of stuff people are sharing with each other, and it's always really exciting, and it's a nice reward to see after all the hard work that the team has put in to see what people think of the game and that they're having a good time. But we're also always on there looking at the negatives too, where the problems are, where the parts of the game that people aren't enjoying, so that we can eliminate them. If we're not on there seeing what people think and think is good and bad, then we can't really make those changes for the next year. So like you said, it is tough to answer every post and every question, but we all are always on there to get a continual stream of feedback and feelings from people who play the game and are into it enough to talk about it online in forums. So it's definitely important that we give that type of communication our attention.
That's awesome. I want to thank you for coming on. I know you guys are putting in long days, busy days. You made time just for this. I'm really flattered and thankful for it. Any last words to the community out there?
Just thank you for all the positive feedback and constructive criticism that we've got. It's been amazing. I'm really excited with what we were able to deliver, and I really hope that everyone out there is enjoying the game, and feel free to post and talk about how you think we can make it better, because we're listening, and we're here for you guys to deliver the best college basketball game that we can. So thank you very much for having me on here. It's a first time experience getting on and doing this, and it was really good. I hope that everyone enjoyed it, and I was helpful in some ways.
So for Sean Campbell, thanks for coming on. I'm CDJ. Everyone, thanks for listening to this edition of Utopia Podcast.